enter my front, so.
Sir, you were expecting that you had expected that the Supreme Court actually go with the Court of Appeals today, but the court took different direction. So how do you react to this?
Well, the Supreme Court knows better. The Supreme Court is the Supreme Court. What the Supreme Court says represents the law. We respect it. We go by it. There is no other way. We had hoped that it would come our way, but it has gone the other way. It simply means that we have to go back to the High Court and get done with this quickly. We still have hope. We are not in despair.
By the grace of God,
Yes, so
victory is assured.
yes, we
at the
will.
end of the day.
We will lose a little time. We still have to go back. That's all it means. But I'm very consoled by what the Supreme Court said, that he ought not to have been treated the way he was treated. His bail ought not to have been revoked. His home ought to have been invaded. All that is a consolation to us. So we have hope. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, yes, my name is. Yes, my name is Right Honorable Obi Agocha, representing the good people of Ikuano, Umuahia North, Umuahia South Federal Constituency of Abia State. I am the direct representative to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It's indeed a very sad day today. If you looked at the judgment, the court showed empathy in the way the rendition was conducted, the torture, the treatment meted out to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It's just a technical matter, just like the counsels for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has stated. But I'm sure they are going back to the drawing board, starting again from the High Court all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is sympathetic to the plight of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and I believe there's hope at the end of the tunnel. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but I can't say. Maybe gone probably to the restroom.
Oh, okay. That's what. Please, sir. Kuku Emiro. She's done last night. All right, please, sir. Your reaction to this judgment, knowing that.
Can you raise your voice a little, please?
After your reaction to the judgment, of course, it was expected that it would go the way of the appeal court, but this time the Supreme Court took a different turn. Your reaction, sir?
Well, if in recent times you're listening to the commentaries of most Nigerians, there is now a process of judicial rascality. Because if the Supreme Court condemns all the processes, especially the rendition that brought him back to Nigeria, and you're not asking that he goes back to the court of, Federal High Court for the trial to start, I feel it's a lot of injustice. It's a lot of injustice in all forms of jurisprudence. So all I will say that we just leave it in the hands of God at the end of the day. How can somebody, it's difficult to make a comment because when you listen to the judgment when it started, it was clear that they accepted the illegality committed by the federal government of Nigeria in all aspects of it. And yet you went on to this, to remove the judgment of the appeal court because of lack of jurisdiction, which they learned about the lower court. I don't think that is fairness in any consideration, but they say that they are final because it's the Supreme Court. They are also infallible because it is the final court of the land. So we'll go back to the Federal High Court and hopefully we'll probably request that a bail is granted at that level. So for me, it's a win-win affair. At least something has seriously started, and I hope that the process at the Federal High Court will be, that will be expedited so that the young man can come and be useful to his society. But the only unfortunate thing is that the insecurity in Nigeria, and especially in the southeast, will be worsened off because people don't believe what is happening in this country anymore. So if the Supreme Court of Nigeria is not even looking at the implications of what is going on, Boko Haram is on, bandits are on, IPOB is on. So where is the country that we're all looking forward to? May God bless this country. Thank you very much. Sorry?
Of Nnamdi Kanu is illegal. And thank God that the Supreme Court has also ruled today that the invasion of his house in Omahia was also illegal. And also, the Supreme Court has also agreed that he ought not have been denied his bail. Despite the final conclusion of not granting him bail today, the president, riding on this extract from the ruling of the Supreme Court today, can, as the father of the nation, issue a broadcast and then issue knowledge, discontinue the trial and grant him unconditional bail and commence the process for political and political solutions to the matter. So that at the end of the day, every part of Nigeria can come together on that principle of justice, equity, and fairness. So it's not, we didn't lose anything today. But it's also surprising that the final conclusion we were expecting was not made. But it's also victory for us that the Supreme Court agrees that the rendition from Kenya, it was illegal, and that the invasion of his house in Omahia is also illegal, and that he ought not to have been denied his bail. So it is victory for all of us who love democracy, justice, and fairness, despite that the fact that the Supreme Court have also refused releasing him by allowing the appeal by the federal government. But the president still have a role to play. That's why we're appealing to the president to exercise his constitutional power. Going by the extract from this positive extract from the judgment of the Supreme Court today is to issue knowledge and discontinue the trial and initiate the process for political resolution. Anybody that is telling you that the path to peace is endless incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu is deceiving you. Yes. That person is enjoying the crisis, the killing and destruction in the east. Let's find a way. The president has been a Democrat, advocated for justice, equity, and fairness, even in Nedeko. Issues of Nedeko are all about issues of constitutional rights, fairness, equity, and justice. This is what we have known the president over the years for. And we expect him, as somebody who has championed rule of law, as a Democrat, as a leading member of Nedeko, to understand the circumstances we're operating in today and use his presidential power and issue knowledge so that Nnamdi Kanu can go home and we can now open the window and opportunity for final political resolution of this matter. Thank you.
My name is D.E. Caswell.
Okay, and counsel to, or who are you representing, please?
I am counsel to the appellant,
Okay.
which is the Federal Republic of
We
Nigeria.
would like you to react to the judgment of the court.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. As you have all observed what happened today at the Supreme Court, if you ask me, I would say this is victory to administration of criminal justice, because it shows that once you are an accused person, once you are a defendant, no matter what excuse you want to bring to hide under the law to say that you should not be tried, the Supreme Court have expressly, unequivocally stated clearly that we don't have the legislation that will vitiate the court from trying a defendant that has committed a crime. You must be tried for every offense you have committed.
Exactly, sir. But does this not embolden the security agencies? Because now the court has said that, irrespective of the fact that it was extraordinary rendition, that does not subject the trial to illegality. Does it mean that the security agencies will, moving forward, can do what they like and believe that civil procedures can be filed against them?
No, I think that's not the point that the court made. You saw that the court came very heavy on the security agencies, where they have, in any way, impaired on the rights, the fundamental rights of the defendant. However, our laws have made very clear provision for remedy. Where there's such infraction on the right of the defendant, then you can such a defendant can go to the civil court and then seek for civil remedies for the violation of his fundamental rights. And that is why, of course, we have the fundamental rights enforcement, for which the defendant, the respondent, which is the defendant in this case, have actually activated. And you are aware that he has gone to the civil court and he has gotten some judgments, which is still subject of appeal, as to whether or not his fundamental rights have actually been infracted or infringed upon.
Thank you.